Ever wondered what hidden mechanism keeps your engine from tearing itself apart every time you press the gas pedal? Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood but absolutely essential parts of your engine, the timing system. It's something most drivers never think about, until a mechanic says 7 dreaded words. You need a new timing belt, or worse, your timing chain failed. Both of these components perform the exact same job, but the way they operate, the way they wear out, and the way they hit your wallet could not be more different. And by the end of this video, you'll not only understand the difference, but also know which one is actually better for the way you drive. Your engine, in many ways, is a symphony of moving metal. Pistons slam upward with explosive force, valves snap open in milliseconds, and fuel burns with perfect timing to push you forward. But none of that harmony is accidental. The timing system is the conductor that keeps everything synchronized. Deep inside that engine, the crankshaft rotates with the motion of the pistons, while the camshaft controls the opening and closing of the valves above them. The timing system's job is to make sure those two major components stay in perfect alignment. If they don't, if the valves open too early or too late, or if the pistons rise at the wrong moment, the results aren't just rough running. They can be catastrophic. We're talking bent valves, shattered pistons, destroyed cylinder heads, and a repair bill that can rival the cost of the car itself. That's why automakers take this decision so seriously. Whether they choose a timing belt or a timing chain, they are committing to a design philosophy that affects everything from engine noise to fuel economy to long-term reliability. Let's start with the timing belt, the lighter, more flexible, and historically more common of the two. A timing belt looks simple, like a thick rubber band with grooves. But don't let that fool you. Inside that rubber is reinforcement made of fiberglass, Kevlar, or other high-tensile fibers designed to handle thousands of rotations every minute. Timing belts exploded in popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, when automakers were searching for ways to make engines quieter, lighter, and more fuel-efficient. Metal timing chains were durable, yes, but they were also noisy and added extra weight. Rubber belts solved all of that. They ran silently, didn't require lubrication, were cheap to manufacture, and opened the door for cleaner engine layouts. For decades, belts were the standard. The downside? Rubber ages. Heat, friction, oil vapors, and time all break it down. That's why timing belts have a replacement interval, typically between 60,000 and 100,000 kilometers, or about 40,000 to 60,000 miles. Some modern belts stretch this further, but the truth remains. Belts are wear items. If they're not changed on schedule, they can snap without warning. And if the engine is an interference engine, which many modern engines are, this failure can destroy the top end of your motor instantly. The belt itself might only cost a couple $100s, but replacing it often requires removing engine mounts, pulleys, covers, and sometimes accessories just to reach it. That's why the labor cost is so high. A simple rubber belt can turn into a $1,000 repair in the blink of an eye. Still, some drivers prefer the peace of mind that comes with predictable maintenance. You know it's going to wear out, so you deal with it before disaster strikes. Now let's talk about the heavyweight contender, the timing chain. Unlike belts, chains are made of metal. Think of a bicycle chain, but smaller, stronger, and engineered for extreme conditions. Chains have been around since the early days of the automobile. They dominated the mid-20th century and then slowly disappeared as rubber belts took over. But around the early 2000s, timing chains made a major comeback. Why? Simple: longevity. Automakers realized that consumers wanted engines that could last 200,000 miles or more. And timing chains, when paired with proper oil maintenance, could do exactly that. Chains don't degrade from heat and age the same way belts do. They don't dry out, crack, or snap suddenly. Instead, they stretch slowly over time. And because they sit inside the engine, bathed in oil, they stay lubricated and protected. But chains aren't perfect. Because they rely heavily on oil pressure and oil cleanliness, they're extremely sensitive to neglected oil changes. Sludge buildup can clog tensioners and guides, causing the chain to rattle, skip teeth, or even fail entirely. And when a chain fails, the repair is much more complicated than a belt job. Replacing a chain can cost anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 or more because the entire front or even the top of the engine often needs to come apart. So while chains are long-lasting, they're far less forgiving of poor maintenance. Skip your oil changes, and a chain engine won't hesitate to punish you. So how do belts and chains stack up when you look at their strengths and weaknesses side by side? Belts are quiet, lightweight, inexpensive, and great for fuel economy. Engineers love them because they simplify engine design, reduce vibrations, and offer precise timing control. But they are guaranteed to wear out and must be replaced on a fixed schedule. Chains, meanwhile, are strong, durable, and theoretically lifetime components. They're great for drivers who plan to keep a car for a decade or more. But chains add weight, add noise, and depend heavily on oil maintenance. And when they finally do need replacing, the cost can be jaw-dropping. The financial difference is one of the biggest considerations for car owners. A timing belt replacement typically falls between $500 and $1,000 depending on the vehicle. Some luxury cars can cost more, but that's the general range. A timing chain job, however, often starts around $1,500 and can climb above $3,000, especially in vehicles with complex V-shaped engines or overhead cam configurations. The irony is this: a chain is cheaper in the long run only if you avoid ever having to replace it. And the best way to ensure that is to keep your oil clean, your oil levels correct, and your maintenance consistent. So which one is better? The truth is, neither option is universally superior. It depends entirely on who you are as a driver. If you're someone who wants low maintenance, plans to keep your car for 10 to 15 years, and is religious about oil changes, a timing chain is likely the better choice. It can last the entire life of the vehicle with no scheduled service. On the other hand, if you prefer quieter engines, predictable maintenance schedules, or lower upfront repair bills, a timing belt may suit you just fine. Some manufacturers intentionally choose belts for high-performance engines because belts create less vibration at high RPMs and allow finer control over valve timing. Meanwhile, many newer mainstream vehicles, from Toyota to BMW, have returned to chains because customers demanded engines that could survive high mileage. And if you're looking at buying a used car, understanding the timing system becomes even more crucial. For belt-driven engines, always ask, when was the timing belt last replaced? If the seller shrugs their shoulders or says something vague like, I think it was done a while ago, assume it wasn't done. A belt with an unknown history is a ticking time bomb. Factor the cost of replacement into your budget immediately. For chain-driven engines, your ears become your diagnostic tool. Start the car cold and listen carefully. A clean, healthy chain should be nearly silent. But if you hear a rattling sound for the first few seconds, or if the engine seems slow to catch, that could indicate worn guides or tensioners, an early warning sign of expensive repairs ahead. In the end, timing belts and timing chains are simply two different approaches to solving the same engineering problem: keeping your engine synchronized. One is lighter, quieter, and cheaper, but requires scheduled maintenance. The other is stronger, longer lasting, and more durable, but demands consistent oil care and carries massive repair costs if neglected. Neither is inherently better in every situation. The real question is, what kind of driver are you? Do you want predictability and quietness, or durability and longevity? Do you prefer a defined maintenance schedule, or would you rather rely on lifetime components? Your answer determines which system is right for you. But one thing is universal. No matter which system your vehicle uses, the worst thing you can do is ignore it. The timing system is one of the most unforgiving parts of the entire engine. A belt that breaks or a chain that fails doesn't give second chances. That's why following your manufacturer's recommendations, whether that means scheduled belt changes or regular oil maintenance, is absolutely essential. Take care of this system, and your engine will thank you with years of smooth performance. Neglect it, and it can cost you thousands. Thank you for watching. If you have ideas for future videos, drop them in the comments below. We might feature your suggestion in an upcoming episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories hiding in the everyday details of the machines and devices we rely on.